Birmingham seems to have a bit of a thing for bling. From the sequin-studded slug of Future Systems Selfridge's building to the glittering lattice of Make's cube. Every architect seems to want to use the city's history as a centre of jewellery production as a way of justifying adding a bit of sparkle to their facades. But as these projects show, it's quite difficult to make a building look like a jewel. But that hasn't stopped another architect from trying. Looming behind me in Centenary Square is Birmingham's new library by Dutch practice Meccano, a £190 million stack of boxes wrapped in a filigree metal skin of interlocking circles. The architects claim it's inspired by a mixture of the city's industrial heritage, with the black rings representing gasometers, while the silver rings represent the city's trade in jewellery. Some locals have said it looks more like a giant climbing frame, or even a huge pair of lacy pants. It replaces the existing central library from the 1970s that's been loved and hated in equal measure. It was a bold, inverted ziggurat of floating concrete planes that enclosed a radical new world of a library without walls, double-height reading areas linked by zigzagging escalators. But Prince Charles said it looked more like a place to burn books than read them, and it's since been consigned to the wrecking ball to be replaced by a generic mixed-use world of shops and offices. So Brian, why did Birmingham need a new library? What was wrong with the old one?
The old library served its purpose for nearly 40 years and it's done a great job. Its time expired. It was a very tired building and not one that's suitable for the purposes of delivering a learning and a cultural experience in the 21st century.
Most important is that you design good space, space for change. And I think we made a building that is really made for the next 100 years. It's bold, well detailed, good materials, beautiful space, it's good daylight. It's inspirational space.
The previous building was sometimes criticised for looking like a fortress and not very welcoming. How have you tried to lure people inside this building?
It's very important. We want to make a very welcoming building. That even walking outside, you're almost part of a journey to come into the building. And so it's very open. It has as a journey you go through rotundas, you can get all the way up. I think maybe it's very important to also explain that it's a kind of combination of several libraries. So you have more the public library, but also part of it is the children's library. And more what we put on top is what is more the research library with the huge archive.
The library is designed around the sequence of these interlocking rotundas that draw you through the building, all the way from the circular amphitheatre out in the public square to the top light well that channels natural light all the way down to the centre of the library. It's also inspired by those kind of circular reading rooms that you get in the centre of the British Museum and the famous Stockholm Library. But here they've added additional balconies to turn the process of looking for a book into a kind of performance. When you come up to the mezzanine levels, the bookshelves are arranged in a kind of radial pattern which allows views all the way out across the city, a continually changing panorama.
What we've tried to do here is put books at the heart of the library and put people where they want to be, which is in the natural light. And we've tried to create spaces for people. We don't know what the library service is going to look like in 10 or 15 years. What we do know, it'll be different. What we do know as well is people will continue to use it as a place to meet, a place to learn, interact with each other, interact with the resources, however those are presented. So spaces for people are the most important thing.
They're expecting up to 10,000 people a day to visit this library, so it's full of open-plan social spaces, from soft seating areas to organised tables where you can do group work, and these window-side desks where you enjoy a grandstand view across Birmingham through this super-sized net curtain of circles.
We started with this idea that it symbolises the proud heritage of an industrial city. It's made out of metal. Some people say it's the circles of knowledge. For me it's also circles bringing together all the people of Birmingham. So it's a kind of, I think you can have many readings of the facades, and that's because I have my own readings. But now it's given to the public and let them give them their own interpretation.
The stepped-back form of the library not only helps to break up the building's bulk from below, but creates a series of rooftop terraces that have been planted in the manner of English knot gardens, complete with edible plants like apple trees and raspberry bushes, and even these bird boxes. It's the perfect place to come and spend a lunch hour, and try and plough through your authorised biography of Lawrence of Arabia. Now, there's been some criticism in the press about other libraries in Birmingham having their opening hours cut just as this new library opens. Where's the funding coming from for this £190 million project?
This is a fantastic commitment by the City Council. This is City Council money, and albeit the decision to invest was taken the year before the great crash in 2008, but nonetheless the City Council, of whatever political persuasion, has maintained its commitment to this library through thick and thin. But it's also, and you're not wrong, there have been reductions in opening hours in our community libraries, but Birmingham, unlike many other authorities, is absolutely committed to not closing a library, and we've maintained that commitment. What we're very much hoping and driving towards is that this new library, the new central library, the Library of Birmingham, will benefit all the communities and the community libraries in the city.
The top floor is designed as this golden beacon that's supposed to be visible from all of the surrounding local libraries. There's also a touch screen which tells you exactly what you're looking at, from as far away as Birmingham Airport to the doomed Central Library, which itself actually demolished the original Victorian library in the 1970s, one fragment of which remains. A copy of Shakespeare's Death Mask is one of the items on display in the Shakespeare Memorial Room, a strange zombie relic from the original Victorian building designed in the 1880s, and perhaps a ghostly reminder that one day, given Birmingham's lust for demolition, this building's term will also come.